Welcome to the video demo series for Configure.IT. Unleash the hassle-free way to build bug-free mobile apps in the quickest possible turnaround time. So in this video, we're going to discuss local notifications and push notifications. The first question is, what's the difference? Well, local notifications are notifications that the user actually sets up in-app. For example, they set up some sort of reminder. These notifications are actually stored in the actual app itself in the SQLite database. Now this brings up an important point. In Configure.IT, there's actually two different database types. One is the MySQL database, which is the remote database that is stored on a server, and the second database is the SQLite database, which is actually stored on the device within app. Now to use local notifications, again, we have to use the SQLite database. Now the fundamentals of setting up tables and APIs are pretty much the same. We just have to go to a different part of the back end. Now let's go ahead and get started setting up a local notification. So as you can see in my screen, I've gone ahead and set up a couple of fields. The first field is the alert title. The second field is going to be the alert description. And then the third field is going to be the date picker. Now on the date picker, there's a couple of things that we need to take a look at. The first thing is the date picker mode, and we want to make sure that the date picker mode is set to date picker mode date and time, as there is a time component to the alert. The second thing we need to take a look at is the display format and the selected date format. This is important because we're going to have to supply this format to the actual API so that it knows how to parse out the different data. So in this example, we have it set for year, month, date, hour, month, and second. Now, the display format is not so much of a big deal as it is the selected date format. In this case, we just have it set for both. But what I'm going to do is go ahead and copy the selected format so that when we get to create the API, it's already set up. Now what we need to do is go ahead and create a table. I've gone ahead and created a table and with just 4 fields. The first field is the reminder ID. The second field is the name. The third field is the reminder message, and the fourth field is the reminder date. Again, these are the same 3 fields that we just created in the app. Now that we have our table created, let's go ahead and create our API. And the way we're going to do that is add new, and we're going to name this API add reminder. The input parameters are going to be the 3 fields in the table. The first one is reminder title. The second one will be reminder description. And the third one will be reminder date. We'll click next. And now we'll be able to configure our API flow. So the first thing we want to do is an insert query. We'll go ahead and select on a query block. For query type, we'll do insert, main table, we're going to do reminder table, and click next. Now all we need to do is select the 3 fields and select the parameters. So for name, we'll do title, reminder message, we'll do description, and reminder date is reminder date. Now before we click save, we'll go ahead and change the query block name to insert reminder. Click save. Before we move on, let's go ahead and make sure that that query actually did insert data. So what we want to do is add a condition block. We'll select flow, and we'll put our insert reminder, and it equals success. Now what we can do is insert to the right a local notification. And this is saying that once that query has returned successful, we want to go ahead and do a local notification. So for the code, we'll leave as user. The sound, you can leave as default. Badge, if you want to add a badge to the notification, you certainly can. The view button, we're going to leave as view. Cancel button, we'll leave as cancel. The fire date is where we're going to put the reminder date. The date format, remember we copied earlier the format. This is where we're going to paste that format. Now for the repeat interval, we're going to choose unit minute, and this tells the app how often to show the alert. So in this case, it's going to show the alert every minute on the user's device. For the alert title, we're going to choose reminder title, and for the message, we're going to choose reminder description. Now the next section is the variable section where we can pass additional variables along with the alert. Now the first one we want to pass along is the ID of the alert, so we're going to name the key ID, and for the value we're going to choose insert ID. Now we also want to send a name of the alert, so we'll add a new variable and we're going to name this reminder name. For this one we're going to just choose other, and we're going to do a static value, and we're just going to call it event 1. We'll click save, and now we need to add our finish blocks. So we'll right click on local notifications, insert after, finish, and for the message we'll add alert added. Click save. Now we have to close off this condition box, so we'll do insert to the left, finish. We'll change finish success to failure. Change the status code to 400, success 0, and for the message we'll put alert failed. Now let's refresh and test our API. Now for title we'll have test title, for the description we'll have test description, and the reminder date, again remember it's year, month, date, hour, minute, second is the format that we're using. Now we'll go ahead and hit debug, and we have a success. Now we can verify this by taking a look at our table and hit refresh, and there's our record. Now all we need to do is add this data source to our app, and we'll do that now. So we'll go back to our layout, we'll click on add data source, and we'll choose the API, and we'll scroll all the way down to the bottom and click on add reminder. And if you notice, it was under local because again we're using the SQLite database, which is the local database, and because we're using the SQLite database, the API is a SQLite API. So now all we need to do is assign our values. So reminder title, we're going to go down and select form object, and we'll click title. For the description, we'll do form object again, and we'll do text description. And for the reminder date, we'll go again, do form object, and we'll do reminder. Click save, and now we've added our data source. But now we need to be able to fire our data source, and the way we're going to do that is click on the button add reminder, click on actions, then click, and for the action define, we're going to type in API, and we're going to trigger a local data source, a local API call, again because this is an SQLite API. Then we'll select add reminder, click on save. Now what we want to do is provide some user feedback saying that the reminder was added, and the way we're going to do that is we're going to come up here to the data source, add event, and we're going to click on data source loaded. Okay, so now we want to define another action, and we're going to do an alert view. So we're going to show alert. So for the title, we're going to say alert added. So for the alert message, we'll go ahead and just provide the response back from the API. So we'll select response, and we're going to do message. Alert button title, we'll type OK, and click on save. So now that we have our add reminder API configured, we want to provide a way for the user to interact with that notification. And the way we do that is we come over here to the notifications button, we'll click there, and we're going to add notification. And since this is a local notification, we're going to turn on local notification. API name, we'll come down and we'll select local notification user, and we'll click save. So now that we've added the notification, let's go ahead and add an event to the notification. So the way we do that is click on the add event button, and you can see there's two events, alert button click and the push notification view. And if you remember when we were configuring, one of the buttons was the view button, and that's what we want to do is this push notification view. So when the user selects to view the notification, we provide some sort of action. As you can see, there's a whole lot of actions that can be provided for the user, but in this case what we're going to do is we're just going to redirect them to a URL. So we'll select open URL, eternal, static, we'll just type in, we'll just do Google, just to send them to the Google website, and we'll click Save. So now when the user selects the View button on the notification, they'll be redirected to Google. So at this point, when the user adds a notification, that notification is going to be fired every minute. Whether the user views the reminder or clicks cancel, that alert is going to be fired every minute, which will be kind of annoying. So we need to provide a way for the user to stop that notification. And the way we do that is we go ahead and delete that notification. So let's take a look at how we do that. So the first thing we need to do is add an additional API. So the way we do that, we'll come over here to APIs, we'll add new. And this API, we're going to call it delete reminder. We'll select next. And we'll add a local notification block. And right here under type, we're going to click on delete. For the operand 1, we're going to type in reminder name, because remember that was one of the variables that we passed, and equal to, and we're going to change this from variable to static because we know the name was event 1. We'll click save, add a finish block, success, we'll put 1, and the message we're going to put alert has been deleted. And we'll click save. Okay, so now we have the deletion API configured. So now let's go ahead and add it to our app. So we'll come back and we'll close the notifications. We'll click on add data source. And we'll choose the API, delete reminder. Click save. And now we need to add another button. So we'll use the add reminder button and we'll just clone it. Click OK. And then we'll drag it down so that it's about the same. We'll tidy up the position. I know it's supposed to be 10. Then we'll scroll down and change it from add reminder to delete reminder. The action will change from the add reminder to the delete reminder. Click save. Now we also want to provide some sort of confirmation that the reminder has been deleted. So we'll come back up to the add event to the delete reminder data source, and we'll do data source loaded. And we're going to show an alert. And this alert will be the response message, and the condition is going to be if we get a response back of 1 as the success. And we'll click save. So there you go. We've configured all of our APIs in our screen. So let's take a look at it in the app. So I've downloaded the project to the previewed app. So let's take a look at it. So for the alert title, we're going to name it test title. And for the description, we're going to say start new screen. And for the date, we're going to do it in just 1 minute. Click add reminder. There's our confirmation. So now we just wait for 1 minute. Well, there you go. It's been a minute and there's our local notification. Now if I click the view button, then it should redirect me to Google's homepage. And there you go. There's Google's homepage. Now in another minute, I'll get an additional alert for the time interval. So we'll give it another minute. There's our second alert because another minute has passed. So now let's go ahead and delete that alert so that we don't keep getting them. So we'll go ahead and click cancel, click done, and now we'll click delete reminder. So there's our confirmation that the alert has been deleted. And that's how you configure local alert notifications. Okay, so now let's take a look at configuring an API to send out a push notification. The first thing we want to do is come over here and click add new. And we're going to name the API product push notification. And the API category we'll just go ahead and put under user. Now as far as input parameters, the first input parameter is going to be a device token. And the device token is a unique identifier for each device, and it's a required field to send out a push notification. So we'll go ahead and mark it as required. The next field we want to go ahead and add is a product ID. And now we'll go ahead and click next. Now we want to go ahead and retrieve the product information, and the way we do that is go ahead and select a query block. So we're going to rename this query product info, because we're going to be getting product info. And the main table, we're going to scroll down to the bottom to product info. We'll hit next. Now we're going to choose the fields that we want to return. So we want to return product name, price, and let's say category. We'll hit save and next. Now we want to choose where product info, the ID, is the same as our product ID. And we'll go ahead and click save. Now we can go ahead and add our push notification block. So we'll click on push notification. Now the first block, the device ID, we can go ahead and select our input parameter, device token. Now for the second field, code, we actually want to go ahead and choose an alert because we want it to be an alert. The sound we're going to leave as default. Badge, we're actually going to change this to other. Now a badge is basically in iOS is the red icon that has a number beside it. So what we're going to do is, in this case, we're going to set the badge of the app to 1. Now for button title, we're going to type in view. Now for the field message, this is where we can type in our message, and we're going to type in price for this product. So now we want to insert a variable, and the way you insert a variable is with hashtags, and you open it up with one hashtag, and we can choose our variable name, and we want product name, and as you can see, it closes it with an additional hashtag. Now we can continue on with our message, has been reduced to, and we want to put in the new price, so hashtag again, price. And again, it closes it with another hashtag. Please open to view. And that's our message. Now we want to go ahead and enter in a variable. So we're going to do PID. Now, and our value is going to be product ID. And what this will allow us to do is when the user selects view, it will actually be able to take them to the page of this product ID that we're passing as a variable. We'll go ahead and click save. And we'll add a finish block at the end. For the message, we'll type in message has been sent and save. So now that we have our push notification API configured, let's go ahead and test it out. So for device token, we'll go ahead and put in a device token. For product ID, we'll put in a 1, and we'll go ahead and select debug. And there you go. We have a successful message that would have been sent. Now that we have our API configured for our push notification, there's a couple of more configurations that we need to make in the admin panel. So let's click over to the admin panel. And the first configuration that we need to add is this one right here, is our push notification PIM file. A PIM file is a unique file that's created by Apple that's unique to each application. Now, the creation of a PIM file is out of scope for this video, but here's a great website that you can take a look at, and it'll walk you step by step on how to create the PIM file. Once your PIM file is created, then you'll just come right here and load it into Configure.IT. Now for Android, you'll need to get a GCM key, which is a Google Cloud Messenger key. Once you have your key, you'll put it right here. Now here's a website that will walk you through on how to generate your GCM key to send push notifications for Android. Now once you have all of your keys and PIM file installed, then you'll come down here and click on your send mode. There's 2 send modes, one for sandbox and one for live. Now your keys will be different for each mode. And once you choose those, then you'll have your send type, which is either a cron job or runtime. Now a cron will be set up on your own server, and what it does is it sends push notifications out at a predetermined interval. Maybe you have it set to send notifications out every 2 minutes, every 5 minutes. The reason you would use a cron job for sending push notifications is maybe you have a smaller server that can't handle a big load at one time, and a cron job will space those requests out over time so that it doesn't overload your server. And runtime will send all of your notifications out at one time. Now, push notification send limit, this is the limit of how many notifications are sent each time. For example, if it was 10, then it would send 10 notifications out, and then it would come back and do another 10. For a runtime, it would do that over and over and over again until all notifications are sent. If you had say a 2-minute cron job, it would send 10, and then 2 minutes later it would send another 10. So once you have all that set, go ahead and hit save. And that's how we configure push notifications with an API. For more information, visit our Help Center or stay connected via the Support Ticket portal or live chat where our support team will assist you. Keep configuring.